In this lesson, we will help students represent fractions on a number line diagram by defining the interval from 0 to 1 as the whole. Students have had practice partitioning number lines into equal intervals in a variety of situations and have located fractions on those number lines. Today's task is a synthesis of those skills. It is designed to stretch students' thinking. It will give them the opportunity to independently apply the knowledge they have learned by looking at a problem and deciding how they would solve it. Students can choose any materials that will help them create the number lines for this task. There's not one right way to solve this problem. You will just provide support to ensure that their reasoning makes sense and leads them to create a number line that correctly represents the problem. Here is the problem. 5 friends went swimming in a race across the pool. Your student is to mark and label number line models for each swimmer in the competition using the following information. Muriel made it 1/3 of the way across. Steve covered 1/6 of the distance. Toby swam 1/4 of the way across. Judy made it 1/2 of the way so far. Chris has covered 1/8 of the distance. I am going to look at just Muriel and Steve's information to show you one possible strategy your child could use to solve this task. I've put some number lines on paper strips like fraction strips to help me solve this problem. I have 2 strips of paper that are of equal length to represent the distance Muriel and Steve swam. Each strip represents one whole. Looking first at Muriel's information, I see that she swam 1/3 of the way. That means that her number line is partitioned into intervals of 1/3. So I'm going to take a paper strip and fold it into 3 equal pieces. Each of these sections represents 1/3 of the number line. 0 represents the starting point and 1 represents the entire length of the pool. How does this work? Think about when we use fraction strips to partition the number line. This is the same. So I know that I will need to put a tick mark on this fold and the next fold to clearly show the intervals. Now I need to represent how far Muriel swam on the number line. The information says that Muriel's distance was 1/3 of the length of the pool. 1/3 means that I'm going to jump an interval of 1/3 one time. So this is how far she swam. Now I'm going to use the same strategy to find Steve's distance on the number line. Again, I'm going to mark 0 to represent the starting point and 1 to represent the entire length of the pool. That means that I need to divide the number line into 6 sections. How do I find 1/6? I am going to use multiplicative reasoning. I already know how to find 1/3 by folding 3 equal sections. That's simple. I know that 3 times 2 is 6, so what if I fold this third in half? When I open it up, I can see that I have made 6 intervals of 1/6, and I will use tick marks to help you see that better. Now looking at the information, Steve swam 1/6 of the distance. Using what I know, that is a jump of 1/6 one time. So this is how far Steve swam. You would repeat this process for each swimmer. Remember, this is only one possible strategy your child could use to help them in this task. Oftentimes, the most difficult part is just getting started. If your child is stuck, avoid telling them how to solve it. Ask them, what have they tried? What did they do when they partitioned the number lines in previous lessons? Be flexible and be prepared to look for misconceptions your child has and help them reason through those misconceptions without giving them the answer. The most important thing you can do is ask your child to explain their thinking to you. Ask them to talk about what they notice about the relationship between the distances and how they know they are correct in their reasoning. Our goal in this lesson was to help students represent fractions on a number line diagram by defining the interval from 0 to 1 as the whole. One strategy we modeled was folding a paper number line into equal sections to create the correct interval and find the distance. Remember, your child may use a different strategy. Be flexible and try to guide their thinking without giving them the answer.